let's make a quick revision in our subjects. First unit we talk about mass and weight, and we know that mass is the amount of the matter in an object. What the meaning of that? That means when I have a bottle of water, the amount of water in this bottle is its mass, it's called mass. The amount of water in the bottle is called mass, okay? What the meaning of weight? Weight is the gravitational force of the body to attract it to the center of the earth or to the earth. So when I jump to the high or to the top, I will return to the earth. Why? Because of the weight or the gravitational force. Okay. The measuring unit. What is the measuring unit of mass? Is kilogram or gram. And the weight, what is the measuring unit of it? It's Newton. Okay. The measuring device. When I want to measure the mass, I will use sensitive scale or balance scale or digital scale. What about the weight? I will use spring scale. Okay. So when he asked me the measuring unit of mass, it's called the measuring unit, not device, is called gram or kilogram. So I will write or answer gram or kilogram. Okay, the measuring device of weight, is called a spring scale. Okay, number 3, the amount of matter in an object is called mass. And if he asked me about the gravitational force that attracts the body to the earth, I will answer the weight. Okay? When I wanted to know the weight from the mass, I have a rule. The rule equal weight by Newton, of course, equal mass by kilogram times 10. Mass by kilogram times 10. So if he give me the mass of any object of this disk, for example, equal 20 kilogram. He wanted to know the weight. I will write the rule. Okay, and write the mass equal 20 times 10 equal 200 Newton. So I know the weight. Okay? Okay. We know that the weight is depend on the mass. What the meaning of that? When the mass increase, the weight will increase. So when I compare between the Earth and the Moon, and the mass on Earth and the mass on Moon, we know that mass is a fixed value, doesn't change by changing the place. While the weight, not a fixed value, it change when the mass it change. So I will compare between the Earth and the Moon, the mass of Earth and mass of Moon. The mass of Earth is bigger than the Moon by 6 times. So the weight on Earth will increase comparing by the weight on Moon by 6 times. So I have another rule in this part called the weight on Moon equal the weight on Earth divided 6. When I want to know the weight on Moon, I will have the weight on Earth and he divided it by 6. Okay? Okay. This is the unit 1 and talk about mass and weight. Now we're going to talk about unit 2 and talking about heat conduction. Okay? First lesson talk about heat energy. What the meaning of heat energy? It's a form of energy like light energy, electric energy. We have heat energy, so it's a form of energy, okay? It transfers from the high temperature object to low temperature object. Like we said before, when I hold a cup of tea, it's the cup, it's hot, okay? So the heat will transfer from the hot object to the cold object. My hand is cold object and the cup of tea is hot. So it's energy transfer from high temperature object to low temperature object. Another example, when I hold a cube of ice, okay? Cube of ice is cold and my hand is hot. So the heat will transfer from my hand to a cube of ice. So this cube of ice will melting, okay? Okay. We divided the material, all the material around us, to heat conductor and heat insulator. What the meaning of heat conductor means? It's a material. Let heat to flow through. What about the heat insulator? It's a material. Don't let heat to flow through. Okay? Example for heat conductors: copper, iron, aluminium, which mean all metal, not all material, but all metal. Okay? Example for heat insulator: wood, plastic, the air, and wool. Okay? So we used the heat conductor to make cooking pot and kettle. What about heat insulator? We used it to make the handle of cooking pot to not feel hot when I hold the handle of cooking pot or the kettle, and we used it also to make woolen clothes. Okay, so he asked me about wearing woolen clothes in the winter. Why? To prevent the leakage of heat or to feel hot. Why? Because the woolen clothes is heat insulator, which means it don't let heat to flow through. So wearing woolen clothes in winter to prevent the leakage of heat. Okay. Another question. Cooking pots made up of aluminium while the handle of the cooking pot made of plastic. Why? Because the aluminium is good conductor of heat, which means it lets heat to flow through. While the plastic is a heat insulator, which means it doesn't let heat to flow through. So I will answer the aluminium is a heat conductor. While plastic is heat insulator. Okay? Okay. The second lesson talk about thermometer. What is the thermometer? It's a device using in measuring temperature. So it's a device used to measure temperature. If he asked me what the meaning of temperature, it's a degree of hotness or coldness of the body. So the thermometer used to measure the hotness or coldness of the body. Okay. We have two types of thermometer: medical thermometer and the Celsius thermometer. Medical thermometer used to measure the human body temperature. Okay. Celsius thermometer is used to measure the liquid temperature, any liquid. Okay. So the medical thermometer used to measure the human body temperature. What about Celsius? Celsius used to measure liquid temperature. Okay. What is the component of the medical thermometer? Or it consists of, first, thick glass tube. The wall is called thick glass tube. The inner tube is called capillary tube. And this part is called construction. And the last part is called mercury ball. Okay. The Celsius thermometer consists of also thick glass tube, capillary tube, and mercury bar. But there is no construction on it. Why? Because in the medical thermometer, I used to measure it to human body, so I wanted to read it correctly and easily. So there is a construction to make the mercury slow down to the mercury bar, so I can read it correctly. Okay? What is the scale of the medical thermometer? It begins from 35 Celsius to 42 Celsius, and it is the temperature of the human body. What about the Celsius thermometer? It starts from 0 Celsius and ends to 100 Celsius. 0 Celsius is the temperature of melting point of water. When it turns from the ice to water in 0 Celsius to liquid, from solid to liquid, and it turns or it changes from liquid to gas on or at 100 Celsius. So it's a boiling point of water. Okay, we have important question in this part. The mercury is the liquid metal that is used in the thermometer. Why? Why we use mercury in the thermometer, even at medical thermometer or Celsius thermometer? Because it's a liquid metal. What the meaning of metal? Metal means it's a heat conductor. Okay, so we used it. Okay, we finished this part. We still have 2 units. We'll take it later. Unit 3 talking about the atmosphere. What the meaning of atmosphere? It's a mixture of gases. So we talk about the gases. First, we talk about oxygen, which we breathe it. Okay, we used it in respiration. What is the percentage of oxygen? It's 21% in air volume or of air volume, which equal 1/5 from the air volume. Okay? It consists of 2 oxygen atoms, so it's a symbol equal O2. 2 oxygen atom. We take it or it produced from photosynthesis process, which is a plant absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. Okay? Okay. How we prepare it in the laboratory? How we prepare it? We bring hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide, which is symbol H2O2. Okay? And we put manganese dioxide as a catalyst. And we know that catalysts don't participate or don't get in the reaction, but it helps. It just helps. Okay? The hydrogen peroxide will dissociate to oxygen and water. So the oxygen produced and it collected by downward the water, and the oxygen will upward. So we have a reason in this part. Oxygen is collected by downward of water. Why? Because oxygen hardly dissolved. In water. It can't or it's difficult to dissolve in water, so we can collect it by using water. Okay? Okay, we have properties of oxygen to know it from the whole atmosphere. We can know it by its properties. First, it's colorless, odorless, and tasteless. It's colorless, I can't see, and odorless, I can't smell it, and tasteless, so we breathe it without knowing, okay? Second, it hardly dissolves in water, so we used water to collect oxygen in the preparation, okay? Third, heavier than the air, so we can't use air to collect oxygen because it's heavier than air. It doesn't burn. In the atmosphere, it doesn't burn, but it helps in burning. So when the oxygen present, this fire will increase, not decrease. So it helps in burning. Okay? It reacts with magnesium or any element. We can take it, the magnesium and put element, any element. Okay? And it produce, when it reacts with magnesium, it produces magnesium oxide, which is white powder. Okay? So the oxygen reacts with any element to produce element oxide. Okay? Okay. The importance of oxygen, we use it in all or in almost the process, the most of process like respiration, like combustion or burning, okay? We used it in forming water, okay? And God used it to make ozone layer, which called protective layer. Why? Because it protects us from the harmful ray that come from the sun to us. Ozone layer, which consists of 3 oxygen atoms. It produces a layer, it protects us from the harmful ray that come from the sun. Okay? This is the oxygen. Second gas we will talk about it, carbon dioxide. and its percentage is very small, equal 0.03% of air volume. Okay? Source, we can get it from respiration and burning. Burning fuel, burning wood, burning anything, the car fuel, anything it can produce carbon dioxide. Okay? Okay. How we prepare it in the laboratory? We used calcium carbonate, okay, and diluted hydrochloric acid. It reacts with each other to produce the carbon dioxide. And we collect the carbon dioxide by upward displacement of air. Why? Because it's heavier than the air. So the air will get higher or in the top, and the carbon dioxide will still in the bottom. So we can collect the carbon dioxide here. Okay? So we use the air in the collecting of carbon dioxide by upward displacement of air. Why? Because it's heavier than the air. Its properties. It's colorless and odorless only, but it has a taste. We taste it in the soft drink, in Coca-Cola, in Pepsi, and also. Okay? So it's colorless and odorless. It's heavier than the air, so we use air in collecting it. Okay? It dissolves easily in water, so we can't use the water to collect carbon dioxide. Why? Because carbon dioxide easily dissolves in water. Okay? It doesn't burn and doesn't help in burn. So we used it in extinguishing some fire. Why? Because it doesn't burn and doesn't help in burn. It reacts with oxygen also. And, it reacts with magnesium, forming magnesium oxide, the white powder, and the carbon black substance remain on the wall of the tube. So the magnesium attracts the oxygen from carbon dioxide, and the carbon remain on the wall. So the carbon dioxide consists of one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. One carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. Okay? Okay. We used the carbon dioxide in making the dry ice, and we know the way. The soft drink and extinguishing some fire. Why? Because it doesn't burn and doesn't help in burn. And use it in making bubble bread, and we know the way. Okay? Okay. If the percentage of carbon dioxide increase, it leads to suffocation. We will suffocating and we will die. Okay? Number two, we also suffer from global warming, and we suffer it already in the winter, and we feel hot. Why? Because the increasing of the percentage of carbon dioxide, which called global warming. Okay? The last lesson, or the last gas in this unit, the nitrogen. Nitrogen, its percentage equals 78% of air volume, and it's the largest percentage or the largest gas in the atmosphere. Okay, so the main source of nitrogen is the atmospheric air or the air. Okay, Daniel Rutherford discovered it in the air. He discovered the nitrogen in the atmospheric air. Its structure, it consists of two nitrogen atoms, and it's simple N2, two nitrogen atoms. We found it in the atmosphere, in the air, and we found it in the soil, we found it in the ligands by helping of nodular bacteria. Okay. And finally, we found it in all living organism tissue. Why? Because the nitrogen is the main component of the protein, which consists or which build the protein in our living or in our tissue. Okay? Okay. Its properties. It's colorless, odorless, and tasteless like oxygen. Okay? It doesn't burn and doesn't help in burning like carbon dioxide. It hardly dissolves in water like in oxygen. Finally, if he asked me about nitrogen gas called azote, what the meaning of azote? It means lifeless. Why? Because it doesn't get in the burning or combustion process and respiration. It doesn't get in the combustion and the respiration, so it's lifeless, which means azote. Okay? Now we finish unit 3. We will take unit 4. Unit 4, the last unit, talking about the systems in our body or in living organism body. Okay? First, let's talk about the nervous system. The nervous system. It's a system that communicates and controlling the body system with each other and the body with the environment. It connecting the human body with the environment. Okay. The building unit of the nervous system is called neuron or nerve cell. Okay. It consists of number 1, plasma membrane. The wall of the cell is called plasma membrane. Number 2, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. This dot is called the cytoplasm. And the nucleus. Nucleus. And dendrites. And we have to know the function of dendrites. Dendrites is used to connect two nerve cells or a group of nerve cells with each other to form synapse. What the meaning of synapse? Synapse is a group of nerve cells connecting by dendrites. Okay? This part is called cell body or body cell. Okay? The another part is called axon. Axon. Okay? And it consists of number 1, this part or this dark part called myelin sheath. What is this myelin sheath? It's a fatty layer. It's a fatty layer, okay? And the axon. So he can ask me that space is surrounding the axon. Space is surrounding the axon. هقول ايه؟ myelin sheath. Okay? And the terminal axon. The end of the axon. Okay? And its function to connect this nerve cell with the muscle of the organ or connect the nerve cell with another nerve cell and form synapse also. Okay? Okay. The nervous system is consists of two main part system: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. Brain is consists of cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and we know that this names in Latin. So brain consists of cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and we know that the brain is the main organ in the body. It is a controlling center, okay, and it consists of millions of nerve cells. Okay, so I called it a block of nerve cells. We have three parts in the brain. The cerebrum, it's the upper part of the brain called cerebrum. Its function, it's important. Its function, number one, memory and thinking. Number two, it's responsible for voluntary movement, and we know that voluntary movement, what I want to do, so I will move and do it. It's a voluntary movement. Okay, I want to drink, so I will move to the kitchen and get the cup and the drink. So it's called voluntary movement. Okay, and connecting five senses with brain. When I see something, how it get to the brain? By cerebrum. When I smell any food, how it get to the brain? By cerebrum. Okay. Another part called cerebellum. Cerebellum, it's located in the back area below the cerebrum. Cerebellum below the cerebrum in the back area, and it's responsible for the body balancing. To balance the body, it's responsible for balancing or body balancing. Okay, medulla oblongata, it's below the cerebrum, but in front of the cerebellum. Okay, and it's responsible for involuntary movement, like the heart beats, like respiration. I can't control it, but medulla oblongata, it control it because it's responsible for involuntary movement. So when a person in accident hurt or infected the medulla oblongata, it leads to this immediately. Okay? Okay. Spinal cord. Spinal cord, it's a cord extended from the brain, especially from the medulla oblongata, to or in the backbone or in vertebral column. Okay, and it consists of two matter: white matter and the gray matter. The gray matter take letter H, and it's important. We can ask in this part, like spinal cord, the gray matter takes shape space letter, takes shape H letter, okay, and it's surrounded by white matter. Okay, what is the function of the spinal cord? Its function to connect the body with the brain and the brain with the body. Tamam? And responsible for reflex action and it's very important. What is responsible for reflex action? The spinal cord. The spinal cord, what is the function? The reflex action. Okay? Okay. The second part, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system. And this part consists of nerves. Okay? It consists of, or it divided to cranial nerve and the spinal nerve. Cranial nerve means brain, which is the nerve from the brain, and the spinal nerve, the nerve from the spinal cord. Okay? The cranial nerve, about 12 pairs of nerves. Okay? And the spinal nerve, about 31 pairs of nerves in the spinal cord. Okay? This is the main point in the nervous system. Listen. Now we talk about the lesson 2 in this unit, locomotory system. Locomotory system divided to two parts, a skeletal system and the muscular system. And muscular system, from its name, it consists of muscles only. All I need to know, it consists of muscles. Okay? What about the skeletal system? Skeletal system, we divided it to main parts. First, axial system. Axial mean main, the main part, the important part. And appendicular system. Okay? Appendicular system consists of upper part, two arm is upper part in appendicular system, and lower part, two leg. Okay? What about axial system? It consists of skull, which is located in the head, okay, to protect the brain. So the brain is located inside the skull, okay. So the skull in the axial system to protect the brain. Okay, rib cage to protect the heart and lung. Protect the heart and lungs. Okay, and vertebral column or backbone. To protect what? To protect the spinal cord. So the axial system consists of the skull. Why? To protect the brain. Consists of the rib cage. Why? To protect the heart and lung. Vertebral column to protect the spinal cord. Okay. The last part we will talk about joints. Joints. What the meaning of joints? Joint is the area which meeting the bones with each other. Not bone with muscle, but bone with bone. It's called joint. Okay? Joint is a connecting between bones with each other. We have three types of joints. Immovable joint. Immovable, which means it doesn't move. Doesn't move. Okay? Like the skull. Skull doesn't move. Okay? Why? To protect the brain. Number two, slightly or limited movement, which means it moves in one direction. In one direction, like the knee and the elbow. It moves in one direction. I can't move it in the opposite direction. It moves in one direction. Okay, so I call it slightly or limited joint. The last one is freely joint. It can move all over. Okay, it can move in all directions. Okay, like shoulder, like the neck, like the wrist, like the ankle. Okay. Now we finish our subject in grade 6 science. Good luck.